talking to me. Don't you leave me by myself. There's something in the way you're moving. You can make me lose my breath. In a room of flashing lights, you pull me closer as we dance. It's you and midnight. Let's leave now and get undressed. Undressed. When you look in my eyes and holding me close, I know you won't let me down. For the rest of the night until break of dawn, baby, it's the two of us. I know you won't let me down. Talking to me, don't you leave me by myself. In a room of flashing lights, you pull me closer as we dance. As we dance, it's you and midnight. You know we could get undressed. Undressed. When you look in my eyes and holding me close, I know you won't let me down. For the rest of the night until break of dawn, baby, it's the two of us. I know you won't let me down.
Yeah, it's a hot day. I'm hanging in the sunshine. You should hit me with the splash gun so I cool down. Won't you come on over? We can party till the sun's down. Baby, let me buy you a drink while we're dancing a blink. I could go for some Queen Bee too. Bass is going boom boom. If you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide. You can come on over. We can take the roller coaster.
Okay. Alright, come back. Amazing.
Well, it's just another Friday. Paradise. So bring your A game.
What was the other thing you did though?
This party won't stop.
I know you just went crazy. Yeah, do something really stupid now. That's it. I love it. That's it.
Well, g'day everyone. Just looking at the actual feed here, it's coming up. I know it's saying it's healthy now. Now I'm trying to get the comment feed up. I'm using Ecamm. I've just got to find where it's hidden. I should have checked that before I came out. Where is it hidden now, the comments? I've just got to find where it shows. Show all utility windows. So bear with me for a second. Comments and reactions. I think that's it. Where to go? Ah, there it is. I've found it. Let me see if I can stick it down here somewhere. Actually, I'll move it next to me there. Put it up there. So how are we all? Been a couple of weeks since I've been on live. Basically, I've been learning DaVinci Resolve. So that's what I've been doing the last few weeks. So I've still so much to learn, but I've been having a ball actually learning it. You guys know me that I always like to push myself. So let me just move this monitor out of the way, see if I can, there we go. So yeah, I've been learning DaVinci Resolve. I use Final Cut, but I really wanted to learn something else, and I do always like learning new things, so I've been trying to learn that. So I've been doing all these courses and things like that online that I've paid for actually, so I had to go through them, but I'm really enjoying it. So let's see who's here in the chat anyway. Let me make this longer. So say hi. We're actually in pre-show time. We've got a few minutes before we officially starting. So we've got drone services here as well. Just saying yo. Victor is now. How do I get that from? It's coming up with things you can't see, I don't think, but it's coming up with giving me some suggestions. I don't know how to stop that. It doesn't matter. So Victor is saying, hi David, I purchased that small rig video head. Thanks for the great content. I know, how good is that thing? For the price, check it out. It was a review. I did 2 reviews back. It's just such a great tripod head, video tripod head for around about 90 USA dollars from Small Rig. It's such a good thing. But have a check of the video anyway. You'll have a look. But I'm glad you purchased that, Victor. Aldrich said, hello, is it? Rocco said, greetings from Southwest Florida. What else have we got? Ike said, he's just saying hi, actually, here at this stage. So good to see you here. You're saying tapping in from the Pacific Northwest T-Town. What's T-Town, Ike? Long Rider's just saying Ike there as well. Juicy said, hi, David. G'day, Juicy. How are you? Long Rider said, hey, Long Rider, talking to each other. Chris said, hello, David. A nice day in Los Angeles for Corona. I'm having a white wine today. How do I get rid of this? Oh, there we go. So here we go. I've got to, you know me, I've got to put the sound effect up. Hang on. I usually do it with the beer. Hang on. Here we go. This is ASMR drinking time. White wine. You ready for this? Oh boy. I still think people that start just watching me are going to think this guy's completely nuts. Well, I am. Keith's here as well. G'day, Keith. I'm going to do a show with Keith sooner or later. I'm going to pop on live on his show. So we'll do that soon, Keith. That'll be fun. So Keith's got a great show that if you are into streaming, check out Keith's show because he shows all things with like hyperdecks and how to set up the software and all that sort of stuff. So Keith is really good if you're into streaming. So I might pop in on Keith's show and we'll do that fairly soon. Richard said, greetings from Las Vegas. I went to the NAB show, over 50,000 attendance. Great show. That's great, Richard. I would have loved to have gone to NAB. I really would have, but I'm too far away. Roger said, hello from Norway. Johnson City Ariel said, I never get tired of Kiara. I know. I must do another shoot with her, actually. It's harder now because she's working full-time and, she's now got a driver's license and she's out partying and everything else. But she does. I asked her and she said she wants to do it. I've just got to organise it all. So I must get another shoot with her. Juicy said, what happened last Saturday? You didn't do a live. Yeah, I was doing training on DaVinci Resolve, Juicy. That's why. I did it actually for 2 weeks. So I've been sort of flat out trying to learn that. It's a massive program because it has audio, effects and everything sort of built into it. So I've been trying to learn that rather than, look, I love Final Cut, but the problem with Final Cut is if I want to start doing things with audio, then I have to take the audio out and do things another way. Whereas it's all linked into DaVinci Resolve. So I've started to learn that. So that's where I was last Saturday, Juicy. Jess said hello from Denmark, good vibes. He said hello, David and friends as well. Altric also said hello, everyone. John said hello from Livonia, is it Michigan? Hero said notification gang. Hero said laugh out loud, David's lit tonight. Keith said good day, David. Greetings, Z9 King. Have you got your Z9 yet, or Z9 yet, Ike? Let me know if you've got it. Ike said it's drink 30. What does that mean? It's drink 30. Tatang said 16 to 28 2.8 Sigma and 17 to 28 G2 Tamron. Is it true? Ooh, well, I can't tell you any rumours. I can tell you rumours about Tamron, but I couldn't tell you anything else because I'd be under NDA with Tamron. But, you know, we know they're going to come out with new versions of their lens soon. Altric said he's having a Corona right now. Ted said, great to see you, David, as well. And Liz says, good morning, everyone. G'day, Liz. How you going? Let me have another sip of this beverage. That's not bad, actually. Juicy says, I was thinking I purchased that software as well. Yeah, I paid for the full version of it. I wanted to pay for the full one because, look, DaVinci Resolve or Blackmagic are a good Australian company, so I wanted to support them as well because they are Australian. But the other thing too is that I wanted to get the full version due to the fact that it's more tailored for performance on the M1 Max, particularly with the graphics. You can use it totally free, and I believe it's very, very good, even free, but you just get a few extra features with the paid version. So I did pay for it, and it was quite expensive, actually. It was $400 odd Australian, $450, I think. So it wasn't cheap. It's probably only $29 USA, but it was $400 Australian. So it wasn't cheap. But the good thing with Blackmagic is you never have to pay for that software again. So it's like when you buy Final Cut on the Mac too, you don't have to pay for updates. Well, Blackmagic are exactly the same as well. So yeah, Juicy, I think it really is worth getting. I've loved it so far. The last two videos I've done, I've used DaVinci to produce them. That was the one I just put on this. So check this one out. I just reviewed that this lens, I'm telling you guys, this lens from Viltrox, this little 1.8 35mm is incredible for the price. I think on B&H it was $399. Have a look at the review I just put up. I did it and showed real images. I took at a wedding, I just did. So that's the previous video that I've got. Don't go now, but have a look at the video that I just put up, and it shows this lens, and I show the images with it. And I was amazed at how good this lens actually is for the price. I mean, if you can't afford to get, you know, an expensive G Master lens or something like that, a Sony lens, this is a great option if you want to you know, get something that's good quality. I mean, look, it'll never beat a G Master, but have a look at the images anyway and let me know what you think. So check that out too. So I did that video, and I also did the video that for the small rig little video head that I've just started to use, and it's great, and I've really enjoyed using it. Hero said Capture One has the iPad beta up. Oh, have they? I'll have to look at that because, yeah, I love Capture One. I'll have to check that out, see if I can get on the beta of that. I am on the beta of the Capture One software, so I'll have to log in and see if I can get that too. I have to see what's going on. Yes, you own the software, not monthly subscription and never own it. Yeah, that's right. You just have a one-off payment, and you know that's basically it. So, the lens Altric is the Viltrox. So it's a Viltrox lens. It's a full frame lens, and it's the AF35 1.8 FE lens. So it's a 35mm 1.8. Like I said, check out the previous video before this one, and I've done a full review of it, and I used it in a wedding, and I showed the actual images with Capture One. So check that out, and I gave a full review of it. So have a look at it if you haven't seen what that's about. All right, so let's get stuck in, because I've got a bit of rumours and stuff that I'm going to get through today. Pretty exciting, actually, some of them. But we'll switch over. So let me switch over. Keep firing away with the questions, because I will come back at the end and we can have a little chat there too. So let me switch over to here. So first rumours. This is quite interesting, that they're saying the full Sony a7rV, a9III, the ZV, a medium format, and E-mount lens rumor recap. Now, oh, by the way, too, I did notice that DJI, DG, I always get mixed up, the drone manufacturer has put out, there's rumours that they're going to put out a medium format camera, and they're saying that they're going to tackle Fuji and Sony, but Sony haven't even released one yet. So, but DJI, yeah, that's who it is. I just remembered. So there's rumours that they're going to produce a medium format camera. I don't know whether that's true or not, but it's an interesting rumour. I did see that somewhere this morning. Anyway, I thought I'd just share that with you. So we may have more competition in that regard coming up soon. But the latest rumours that are coming out here are saying that the a7R5 appears in 2020, likely in the second half. So I think the a9III will probably come out before that. But they are still saying on Sony Alpha Rumours that it appears in 2022, likely in the second half. I'm just looking at Ike there, said, YouTube has been hiding my videos from David. Yeah, I don't get many. You're right, Ike. Like it drives me nuts, because I don't see many referrals anymore or suggestions, and that's a problem. So have you been posting stuff with that? I'll have to check out your channel and have a look, because it's really frustrating that you don't get these like suggestions coming through. They should be notifying people. Now, it says appears in the later half of 2022 due to the shortage of semiconductors. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on too, because there's some other issues too with some of the cameras that I'll talk about. For instance, if you try and get the ZV E10, which is what I'm using now, you cannot purchase that anywhere. I looked the other day because I thought, well, that can't be that hard to get, but it's out of stock everywhere. So it is really tough at the moment to get some Sony cameras. So check that out. It's really interesting. And I think, obviously everyone is being really hurt with this semiconductor shortage at the moment. Now, they're saying here that because of that, it'll probably be the later half of 2022. And I wouldn't be surprised if these aren't released and they're just announced this year due to the semiconductor thing. But, anyway, they're saying it'll have 8K 30p, full width Super 35 and 4K 60 full width Super 35. I'm not sure I believe that. I think that Sony at this stage, look, they may, because there's also rumours that Canon are going to announce a new camera, the EOS R7, I think it was, sometime this year as well. So, if that also has 8K, they may put 8K in their cameras now to compete with what Canon are doing. So that could quite possibly be true, but they're saying it's not available for full frame. It's Super 35, and also 4K 60 will be in Super 35 as well. The other thing here, Suckerman, I can confirm it's coming in late 2022. 8K I cannot confirm. Like I said, they're saying it's highly likely. I think it might depend on what the competition has. If they get an inkling at all that the R7 is definitely going to have it, well, you may get it. Also, the a9III here is rumours as well for 2022. I think this is probably going to be the next one. It'll either be this one or a new ZR camera. I think they're going to be the two that'll come first, and the a7R5 will probably come after that. But it says it appears in 2022, likely also in the second half. due to the semiconductor shortage as well, they're saying. So they're saying probably the fourth quarter of 2022, later than the a7R5 and the ZV-1. See, that's interesting. I would have thought it would have been the other way around, but anyway, we'll have to see what happens in that regard. 24 million megapixels. So they're going to stay with that, obviously. Significant upgrade of core specs. 24 MP tilt monitor. I'm sure it will have the new monitors that are out now. I think that the days that Sony are going to still produce that or give that older monitor hopefully now are over. I certainly, look, if honestly, if they give that monitor in these new cameras, the old one, are you ready for this? If Sony puts those old screens on these new cameras, yeah, anyway, let's not talk about that because I don't think they're going to do it. They're also saying that the a9III will have 4K 60p and it'll be 4,999, so $5,000, 20,000 Australian dollars. But there's no mention of picture profiles. Are they going to put picture profiles in this camera? Like if they're giving you 4K 60 and they don't give picture profiles, honestly, it's what can you say? I mean, really. So at this stage, there's a couple of cameras as well that they're saying the ZV-1 derivative will appear in the quarter 2 as well. So there's going to be probably a ZV-2, and I think that's due. I mean, that's been out for a little while now, so I think that's probably due as well. I would think that is probably going to be one of the first cameras that will come out, but I still think the a9III is going to come first. I do believe it will probably stay with 24 megapixels. I think if you're going to want to go higher than that, you're going to have to go for the A1. But the thing that's going to be interesting for me is it going to give picture profiles in it so they're going to make it a reasonable video camera? Look, it does. I love the A9 as long as you're shooting in the standard profile, but the problem is the second that I want to start shooting log, I then can't match the footage very easily and it becomes a real issue. So they really do need to add that. And I did a whole video talking about Sony firmware upgrades a couple of videos back where I slammed Sony about that. So check that out if you haven't checked that out because they need to look after people a little bit better. But I think these are probably going to be two really good cameras. There's no mention with these a7R5 what resolution that's going to be. I would think it's probably going to be around about the 100 megapixel size. And I notice Altrix says he thinks that the a9III will have a 33 megapixel sensor and no mechanical shutter. I actually think you may be right with that. In the mechanical shutter, Altric. The mechanical shutter is nearly getting to the stage now where you don't need it any longer. There's not really any banding at all issues anymore because the sensor is so fast, and also now you can shoot with flash. The only reason why I use the mechanical shutter with my A9 is for flash. So if you don't need that aspect of it, why would you ever use it? The thing too is that you've got far less wear and tear on your camera because there's nothing moving basically. So I think that is the future, the way that the cameras will go eventually, but the a9III may be the first one that comes out without a mechanical shutter. If it has got a mechanical shutter, you will probably never use it. I mean, I very rarely use my mechanical shutter in the A9. I only really use it, like I said, if I'm doing flash. So let's keep coming. They're saying here too that the A9, yeah, like I said, will be $5,000. There's no price mentioned for the a7R5. So that's going to be interesting to see. Let me know too in the specs what you think about what the a7 V would have. Again, it should have that new monitor as well. Hopefully, hopefully both of these two cameras will have the EVF that the a7S III and the A1 has. I'm hoping there's a big sort of jump up in those as well. They are sort of the higher ended cameras, so they should be putting that into those too. Like I said, the ZV-1 also they're saying will appear in quarter 2 2022. Also, they're saying here as an unknown model. This is unclear if it will be announced in 2022. So I think they're saying that they're betting their hedges here that the ZV-2 may be a completely new camera. I'm not sure. Now, with lenses, they're also saying that there's going to be an FE28 to 75mm released. There's going to be a 24-70. Well, we know that's out already. I'm going to talk about that in a couple of news stories down. So that's already out. The 85 1.2, I think, probably will be the next lens that comes out. So I think the 85 1.2 will be the next one. That really excites me. I mean, I couldn't afford it at the moment, but, you know, eventually I will get that, and I would use that with my 135. There's times where if I can, I will always go to the 135. Oh, nearly spilt my drink. I will always go to the 135. But sometimes when I'm in, want to go a little bit lighter, travel a little bit lighter, or I'm in say a room shooting the bride or whatever I'm wanting to do, and I haven't got that range to use, I will go for the 85. So yeah, that one really interests me. So I'm dying to get that. They're saying here highly likely to appear in the first half of 2022. Yeah, I think that'll be the next lens that's actually released, the 85. The FE100 1.4 GM has been sort of rumoured about that for ages, but it just hasn't happened yet. They're saying it's going to be about 1,600 United States dollars, and they were saying it was rumoured for 2021, and it seems to have disappeared, the rumours about that, which is just weird. They're also saying it's going to be macro compatible as well. An FE 150 to 400, f4 lens, 50mm 1.2 GN lens. That's already, no, it hasn't come out, has it, that one? I think that's the DN lens. 50 f2 DN contemporary lens as well. That's an f2 version. A 16 to 28 also DG lens as well. Could be coming out. Maximum shooting magnification 1.5 1. Oh, don't worry about that anyway. What else is there? And they're just saying a Sony E Leica L as well. Now, the 70 to 200 obviously has already just been released. And they're saying here that the 85 1.2 may be announced before summer. And that's why I think that one will definitely be the next one that's announced. It's the most needed at this point. So they're all the rumours that for that aspect. And there's a fair bit there, actually. I was interested to read all of that. I think most of these definitely are probably true. It's just a matter of when they're going to be released and in which order they will be released as well. We still haven't got any idea yet about a new APS-C camera through there, though. I'm still sort of thinking they may produce a high-end version. I'm not sure. I mean, I love the ZV-E10. I'm using that now. I love that. But, you know, I think they're probably due to have a more high-end version coming out sooner or later. So that's that story. Let's look at the 2470 lens as well, because this looks great. I mean, it's not one that I'm going to buy because I just don't use the zoom lenses much anymore. I'm mostly shooting with primes. So, you know, my lens sort of arsenal really is the 24 GM. I will use this now, though. The 35, I like it. This lens from Viltrox I'm going to keep in my bag and use that now all the time as well, in case if I want to have a bit of a nicer portrait sort of length at 35mm. But it'll be the 24, I'll have the 35, and then I jump then up to the 85 Batis. Sometimes I use the 55mm. The video that I just showed you with Kiara, I had a lot of 55 in it. I love that on a gimbal. So I use the 55 sometimes, and then I'll jump up to the 85 Batis and then the 135. They're the lenses that I love. So I used to be the shooter, the typical wedding shooter that used to shoot with a 24 and then 24-70 and then a 70 to 200. And then the 16 to 35 was the wider lens. I do take the 16 to 35 f4. So if I need something wide, I can shoot with that. I'm hoping Sony brings out you know, a really wide sort of angle lens sooner or later that's a prime. I just love shooting primes. But if you do want to have zoom lenses, this one is an excellent release from Sony. The 24-70mm 2.8 G Master. I said a couple of years ago that I thought definitely this would be coming out soon, and you know it has happened. It was mostly the focusing that needed to be improved, and you know also the size and everything. They've done some voodoo magic with this as well, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. It's saying that the overall lens has an 18% reduction in volume. So it's 695 grams versus 886. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're lugging these around all day, it makes a massive difference. The other big change too is the autofocus motor. They're using the linear focus motors now as well, which are much better than the previous focusing. It also includes 2 more elements than the Mark I version. as well. And I'll put all these links down below so you're going to be able to read these. It says it includes 3 aspherical elements, 2 extreme aspherical XA elements, 2 ED elements, and 2 super ED. The lens focuses internally, but does physically extend when zoomed. So they haven't been able to manage it with an internal zoom. And they're also saying here the autofocus is driven by the XD linear focusing system, which brings the 24-70 2.8 GM in line with the other high-end lenses. That's why I love the 135 so much. The linear focus motors in that and the GM24 and stuff are nuts when you start using it. Then there's just some things about build quality. I mean, it's just the typical GM build quality. You know, I mean, they've made very, very well. I love now the aspect that they've added now your programmable buttons, but mostly, although they were in the other version, but the actual aperture ring. I adore having that, particularly for video, because you don't get that stepping when you move the lens. This is what I love about this too. This little Viltrox has it as well on the bottom here. So you can go, like I said, check out the review, but you can go from fully automatic if you want to stick it on the A. Focus. Where is it? This end. Oh, there. Yeah, if you want to stick it on the A there, you can use it from your camera, so it'll, you know, use it from your aperture mode or from your camera controls, or you can go fully manual as well. For the price, I can't believe what they've put in that lens. It's nuts. Like I said, check out the review. Let me know what you think. But, you know, I love that because you get that smooth sort of gradation going from right through your whole aperture range. Like if you're in a church and then you have to go outside and you can just quickly change your aperture or whatever, there's no stepping, and I really like that aspect of it. But, you know, the build quality is just amazing. It does have an iris lock here. You've got your lock that you can stop it from, you know, opening up or creeping if you have your lens there, so that's also a nice thing. And then there's just some side-by-side comparisons between the old versions. I'll show you another image of that in a minute, but then they just talk about the image quality. They're saying it's great. Basically, that all these new elements gives it no onion rings basically at all. But there is some things they're saying that, you know, it's in some ways, it's not a massive step up from the old version. That's what they're saying, but I'd have to have a look at it myself. But I think any step up from the last version is nice. The rendering, obviously, is much, much better. But have a read of that anyway and let me know what you think. I'm just curious to know what they're saying. Now, let's just say, what were they saying here? The minimum focusing distance is 8.27 inches. They're basically just saying, you know, that it'll give you years of performance. And I think they're saying, are there alternatives? They're still saying that Sony are going to sell the original 24-70mm, the GM1 version. So they are going to sell that with this. So it'll be interesting to see what the price sort of comes up with that. Also, you might, if you're after one of the old versions, you might be able to pick one up reasonably at a good price for second hand. So it's something to look out for as well. It's $3,200. At the moment for the new version. Now, as a side comparison to look at how this looks, you can check it here. And this is the previous version here, and this is the new version here. So you can see it is quite a bit smaller. But there's, like I said, considering what they've done by adding in you know, your focus ring that you've got here, it's incredible what they've done to make it smaller and also much lighter than the previous version. And if you want to check it out compared to all the other lenses, I'll leave the link down below and you can check that out later too, because it's sort of listed all through here. You can check it out compared to the other versions. Like the Canon one is quite big actually. It's very like fat if you're looking at it through there as well. That's the Z version. Which doesn't look, that looks pretty good. The Z version, which is the Nikon, looks pretty good there. But anyway, there's a whole stuff you can look at from that. Now, talking about orders, and this is going back to the shipping sort of stuff we're going through with the semiconductor problem that we've got. They're saying that the 16 to 35 FE is delayed. Now, there's a story here that Sony left this whole thing talking about that. And they're saying that they've given an apology basically for this. And they've said that the PZ 16 to 35 lens is going to be delayed. At the time of the press announcements on March 22, was set for April the 28th, 2022. What are they saying about how long? It just says, we have decided to postpone the release due to the impact of the global distribution delays. The new release date is scheduled for the summer of 2022. So they're not even giving a timeline yet of how long that could be. So it could be a few months away. And they just basically apologised. So not only is this happening, though, with the 16 to 35, it's happening, like I said, with, try and look up, like I said, for the ZVE10. You can't get it. It's just not available anywhere. Also, the A7C, and they're saying it's coming in 4 months. Tamron also is having issues as well. Even if you look at it, they're saying here that 2 days ago, Olympus announced that the new OM1 will ship 2 months later than expected. And this is due to those chip shortages. It's probably also the sensor is a Sony sensor, so they're probably having trouble getting those as well. Like I said, the 16 to 35 will now ship out in the summer, and they're saying most of the current gear is back ordered or out of stock. The Sony a7C will ship in 2 to 4 months only. So that's the a7C, and I didn't even talk about that being upgraded yet, so who knows if that's going to get an upgrade. It needs to. I mean, they definitely need to upgrade the a7C. They should bring out an a7 IV version of that camera, you know, and I'm waiting to see if that happens as well. The a7 IV is out of stock, and the Tamron 35 to 150 is not shipping out since months, and that is such a great lens, that Tamron 35 to 150. I actually loved it. And this is all to do with this semiconductor shortage, and everything I've been reading about this is saying that this is going to continue for the whole of this year and maybe parts of next year. So who knows what's going on? I mean, it's happened with cars, hasn't it? I mean, you can't even get cars now. You've got to wait months to sort of get them. Another rumour coming through here too is that Sigma well, there's rumours they're going to announce a 70-200 f2.8 by the end of 2022. So this is going to be interesting to see how this compares to the G Master lens and whether they can compete on the size of this, or if this is going to be a pretty big honking lens. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see. They're also saying that the 16 to 28 excuse me, 16 to 28, a 50 1.2 and a 50 f2 that I mentioned before coming out as well. So how blessed are we in the Sony realm that, you know, we've just got so much choice now. It's ridiculous. I am going to come back to the chat, guys. So Lexar as well have announced a new CF Express Type A card. I think they just did this at NAB. So again, we're going to start to see some differences with prices, hopefully, where these drop down in price with a bit of competition. I mean, I paid a fortune for my 2 cards that I've got in my a7S3, I mean. I got the 180 gigabyte cards, and they were, I can't remember how much. It was a lot. Anyway, they're going to release these new cards coming out, I think up to 512 gigabytes. So, wow. So stay tuned for those. So if you are after some Series A cards, we're hopefully going to get some new versions of that. There's CF Express B, though. I'm not sure if it mentions about the A. Oh, yeah, it says here, just saw it at NAB in their booth, mentioned they are expecting a 10% more cost-effective card, 320, 160 and 80. Okay, so the 320 is going to be the maximum size that they're dealing with. So anyway, that's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. The other thing too is, I'm putting this up because I did review this the other day. Let me grab one. So these are new batteries that are just coming out now. I think you can pre-order them. They might even be shipping, actually, I think. I heard from them the other day, Nightcore. The fantastic thing about this is you can charge this up from a USB cable. They have, I think they have Canon and Nikon versions of these as well. Oh, thank you so much, Long Rider. That just gave me a donation. I don't know why that didn't come up, because it should play automatically. Because I thought when I got that, it automatically made a sound, but obviously it doesn't. But thanks so much, buddy. What do you say? From Lauren Ike, talking trash, talking the talking the A9. Nikon didn't even have autofocus till 2 weeks ago. Oh, I love it. Anyway, so this battery, I think, like I said, you can also get Canon versions and Nikon versions as well, I think. But it charges up through this. Now, you might say that, well, what's the big deal about that? But I love the fact that I don't have to carry cables around or chargers around with me. But I do like the fact that I have made mistakes before where I've gone to put one in the camera and it's empty. Now, you can tell with this because see how that green light came on? So it tells you that that's got at least over 50% charge. It'll go blue if it's less than 50 and it'll go red if it's under 50%. So you can't make a mistake with these not being charged. And I think eventually they're talking about some apps coming out where they'll connect to an app and then you can actually, I'm not sure if this version does it though, but I know the other one does. I think it might be the Nikon one. So I'm hoping that comes out with this as well. But with the app, you can check how the battery rating is, or, you know, how the charging's going in it, how many cycles it's charged through. You can, you know, sort of recharge it. It'll empty it and then recharge it up to keep the battery working very well. But these are great. And I think they're about $40, I think. Or 35, I can't remember. But check out, I've done a review of that anyway, so that'd be a few reviews back. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. But that's this thing here that Sony Alpha Rumors have put on as well. But it's great. I really like it. And obviously it'll fit all the Z-type batteries or cameras like the a7III, the a7R3, etc., the A9 and the A1 and the a6-600. So it's great. So check that out anyway if you'd like to check out that review that I did before. So let's... Ooh. I'll put up a super chat. Let's go through the chat for a bit and then I'm going to go and have a coffee. I need to have this, finish this drink. Here we go. Hang on. You ready? I think it's sculling time. I wonder if Kerry's in there. She can bring me another one. Hang on. Here we go. You ready? Okay, put on some music. I think it's about time to dance on the table. Kids, if you're watching this, that is not the way to drink because you shouldn't do that. So be sensible with alcohol. I'll probably get reported to YouTube. All right, here we go. Let's find out in the chat what's going on. Let me come down. Where were we up to? Let's find it. Greetings, Enoch King. Well, I saw that before. Oh, that was Keith had to go. That's fine. David said, sorry, I've put my mobile chip back out the conversation later. That's no problem at all, Keith. What have we got here? Jess said, Sony should focus on lighter and smaller lenses as opposed to Canon's large, heavy lenses. So please, Sony, this year, a new lighter and smaller Sony 85 1.4 instead of with an aperture of 1.2. I want the 1.2, Jess, but yeah, look, I can understand if you're not after that, but I've always been jealous of that Canon 85 1.2, so I'm hoping Sony bring out that. Well, they will. That's definitely what's going to happen. Ike said, YouTube has been hiding my videos from David. Yep. Like I said, the stupid algorithm that hops up there. DJI owns Hasselblad, so it makes sense. But why wouldn't they just do it under the Hasselblad name? I don't know. Like, would that's talking about... there was rumours that they're going to bring out a medium format camera. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. It's an interesting rumour, though. I just said the algorithm hates us all. Yeah, it certainly does. Stock is out everywhere, David. I purchased and paid full amount last Friday of Kupo Arm Grip 40. I have to wait until the 24th of May. Wow. Yeah, it's awful to get anything, isn't it, at the moment? Said, wow, that sound effect. That sound effect is my new when I'm not happy with Sony. Here, you ready for it again? Here we go. This is the when I'm not happy with Sony, you're going to know. I wonder why I'm not a Sony ambassador. Where were we? Altric said, I think the A3 will have a 33 megapixel sensor and no mechanical shutter. I did talk about that before because I'm not sure about the sensor, Altric, but I wouldn't be surprised at all with the mechanical shutter. But they may up the sensor size. Who knows? Ike said, how about the A9II didn't have 4K 60 is wild. I know, it's crazy. And also no picture profiles. It's just nuts. I'm still convinced we'll get a 33 megapixel stacked high-end version of the A7 for sensor in the a9III. You know they have that grade A version in the R&D development. Yeah, they probably have. It's just interesting to see where they'll sort of market all of these. So, you know, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what specs they put in the a9III, that's for sure. The A1 shutter, the A1 shoot flasher with electronic shutter. Yes, it does, with shoot flash, I mean. And that's the beauty of it. Like I said, you really don't need the mechanical shutter. And it'll get better and better, that's for sure. It's also, it's getting to the point where we almost don't need a global shutter anymore, but we'll see what happens. I can't do 100 megapixel in the V. The 61 megapixel is more than I need in my 1V. Hoping they give us 61 megapixel again. Give it that high ISO performance of the A1. Well, the other thing too that they could do, and I do hope this happens, is that they give us a low RAW version. You know, I mean, that would be terrific if they gave us that option of, say, having 100 megapixel file size if you need it, but then give a low res RAW version that could knock it down to, say, 60 or 50 megapixels. That would be terrific if Sony did that, and I would love that aspect. Other camera manufacturers do that, so it would be great. The dual ISO, yeah. A new APS-C in the a7 IV body would be great for the wildlife and sports crowd. Yeah, it certainly would, and I'm surprised Sony don't do it, really. They, you know, like, you need to consolidate things. I do hope they keep the smaller size as well, because it's great for vlogging and just carrying around, you know, like having this a small camera like that is also pretty useful as well. Oh, by the way, too, I should mention, too, these batteries as well, these ones that I've got, do show up in the Sony menu as a standard battery, so they don't show up with that error message that comes up saying you're not using, well, I haven't in my cameras, coming up with a message saying they're not a real battery, and also they show up in the indicator showing your percentage as well. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, look, I think you're right. They should bring out an APS-C camera with a bigger body as well, a more high-ended one. I don't understand why they aren't discontinuing the 24/7 Mark I immediately or discounting it significantly, given their supply chain issues. Yeah, good point. They probably have a lot just sitting there, so it may disappear, but they might have a lot already in stock. Who knows, Nivak? Agreed, retail prices are too close to keep making them both. I haven't even looked at the prices, actually. G'day, Michael. Good to see you here, buddy. Hey, everyone. Hope all is well. Hi, David. The 16-35G and the 24/7 GM2 is going to be delivered in June in the US. I checked out yesterday. Did you get one, Michael, the 2470 GM? I'm sure you have. Mark said Sony needs to build a factory in Oz. Yes. Like I said, though, the dollar rate probably is the killer. Long Rider gave me that great donation. Thanks so much, buddy. I love this mighty line place. Hello, mighty fine place. Is it? G'day, Scott. How are you too, mate? Michael said, Ike, did you go to NAB? Didn't see you up there this time. I'd love to go to NAB. That might be my next trip. I'm going to Europe next, though. I'm definitely going to go to Europe and the UK sometime. Maybe late this year, early next year sometime. Also, Ike, Long Rider has a good point. I'm not sure what they were talking about. Keith's back as well. G'day, Keith. You're back. A couple of people are just talking amongst each other, so I won't go through those. Keith said, ships offshore sound effect. If you could only take one lens on a vacation, would it be the Tamron 28-200mm, 2.8 to 5.6, or the older Sony 24-240, 3.5 to 6.3? I can tell you, I'd take the 35. What's the? It's the 35-150. If I could only take one lens, which would be that Tamron lens, that would be the one I'd use. I could then use clear image zoom if I wanted to go further, but I love that lens so much. If I can only take one lens at all, that's the one I'd take. I would take my 2470 2.8, Keith said. That's Canon, but that's fine. Everyone's welcome here, Keith. Canon make great lenses. I like Sony too. For your information, I installed a a6 400. Mine's still broken. I must send that in for repairs, actually. Michael said I pre-ordered the 16 to 35G and the 24-7 GM Mark II. I've been thinking about getting a second camera system, looking at the Canon R5C. Oh, interesting, Michael. Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, look, they all make such great systems now that, like I said, I think if money was no object for me now at the moment, I would buy a Z9. I definitely would get that, I think. But I have had an interest for Canon too, though. I mean, I'd love to get into that system as well. I just can't afford it. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to have other systems. And with software now, you can match them. I've got software which matches the camera in DaVinci and also Final Cut. So I have got software that can match any camera to each other. So having different systems now doesn't really matter so much. So I would like to get something like that. Yeah, the R6 is the best value. The R6 is a great camera too. I would love to, you know, like I said, I mean, I would love to have the money where I could have, say, an R9 and also, you know, a Canon as well, an R6. I mean, even a medium format Fuji I'd love to have too. There's so much out there that is just so good. But like I said, it's all money, isn't it? That you know, you just can't afford. That's the problem. And we've reached the end of the chat in that regard. I'm just seeing if anyone has any last few questions before I pop off. Which software matches the different cameras? I'll find it for you because it's Cinematch, I think it is. Let me just see if I can bring it up for you. It's great. It really is good. So let me just pop you over onto the chat here. I mean, onto the other page. I'm going to have to move this. Let me just drag this out. Come back to Brave. I'm going to have to fix this. So let me just bring that in. And then move it a little bit. So it's actually this plugin here. Let me see if it's... I've got to take the help out though. So it's this. It's Cinematch. Now I purchased this. Actually, it's 20% off at the moment. I bought this the other day. It's incredible. It's got this sensor level match, camera match. It's raw control over your footage, guided color correction tools, and you can also color manage as well. Now, the beauty of this, and I'm not sponsored by this, guys. I purchased it. So I bought this, and also I got the other software that they bring out too, which is their film grain look as well. But what you do is you have your target over here and then your source over here, and you can change, say if you wanted, say, the Nikon Z6 is your target and your source was the Blackmagic, it'll try and match them, and it does a pretty good job. You can see here that it's matching the Blackmagic design here. If I go over here and say the source is, say, does it have Canon in there? No, but they are there though. Say for instance you had the Sony a7rV here, and you can see the difference in color. Then if you wanted to match it to the Z6, is it going to do it? This is only the simulation, so I'm not sure. Oh, this is the target. Well, anyway, that's sort of how it works. Fuji X3, and let me go to Blackmagic Design. Oh, that's the original footage. I've got to put that on. Yep. So this is the original source over here. So say, for instance, you had Sony a7 III. That's the original source, and you can see that the target is now Fuji. If I bring up the a7 III will be the same. Let me come down to, say, Nikon Z6. So this is what it will do. It will match the footage that you're getting off the camera to whatever else you're using, so you can completely match cameras. Now, for instance, it'll even, I'm pretty sure, I've only just installed it, so I've just started to look at it, but it will actually match if you have mixed Sony cameras as well. So, you know, like if you had an a7 III or whatever and you wanted to match it to the new colour science of the a7S III, you can do things like that as well. If you wanted to make your Sony cameras look like they're Canon cameras, you can also use this. So that's what it is. You can download a free trial, but I did buy it. I'm just having a look through here too. So it says raw like camera control. So this is how you can control everything. You also select the camera profiles as well. It's very, very powerful. Like, it's a really powerful program. I'm just trying to see how much it was. It wasn't cheap. There you go. You can buy it through as plugins. I bought the bundle because for $1.99 I could use it in Final Cut and also DaVinci Resolve and Adobe. I don't use Adobe though, but I thought it was better to buy the bundle than say buy these sort of individual plugins in case if I wanted to use them in both. So now I've got it installed in in Final Cut, and I've also got it installed in DaVinci, and I save money by doing that. So that's why I did that. And it's, like I said, it's cheap at the moment. It was $249 and it's 20% off at the moment. It's down to $199. I'm not sponsored by them, guys. I paid for it all. So, but I love this software. I think it's fantastic, and it certainly is going to help me later on when I'm trying to match cameras. And like I said, also you can then, if you weren't happy with the Sony color science, you can shift it all to Nikon, or you can shift it all to Canon. And it does a pretty good job. So that's that one. The other one that I got was, I can't remember. It's from the same company, actually. Film Convert. Yeah, that was the other one that I purchased as well. I love the looks that Film Convert gives you. It gives you really beautiful filmic profiles and the camera profiles and stuff like that as well, that I bought as well. I got versions for Final Cut and that as well. But Cinematch is the one that you were asking about. Yeah, well, see, Keith, it is. It's great. If you use the Adobe one, you could just buy the Adobe version for that money. I think the Adobe version was just $139. Usually $179, so it's a good time to get it with that 20% off that you get at the moment. Let me just come back over here. So that's great. It's such a good program. How much is that software? I just sort of showed you that, Keith. Certainly well worth getting. Yes, it's Cinematch, Michael said. Everything is discounted because of NAB. Yeah, that's why it's a good time to get it. If you do want to get it now. Because, like I said, 20% off is a big saving. I can't even give you a link because I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I should have asked for one. NAB 23 NAB show is April. If I'd love to get out to that. Keith said, perfect. I will use the Adobe version of that as well. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to go in and thank you so much for saying this cool shirt. It's like bringing out my guitarist. I was an old guitarist. I used to be in bands for years. So that's it, guys, for me. Stay tuned for some other videos. Do check out those 2 videos I just posted. Hopefully you like, particularly if you want to look at that lens review. I really was happy with that lens. And they do have other versions as well for Nikon and probably Canon and stuff as well. So check that out too. Michael said, Dave, you're the best, buddy. Thanks so much, buddy. All right, and then I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now, guys.
If you're looking for some crazy, I'll tell you everybody's standing in a line for the water slide. You can come on over, we can take the roller coaster. And you know everybody's looking for a ride in the water slide. Water slide. It's just another Friday.